The most important metric in your funding business when you're running paid ads is going to be CAC, and it's going to be your lead quality score. For those that are optimizing their campaigns just to get cheap leads, you're going to find that what happens is you're bringing just that, cheap leads. And you and I both know that cheap leads don't necessarily mean more money in your pocket. So if you're just optimizing to get cheap leads, oh, I got $2 leads, yeah, that's cute. That looks cute in a dashboard, cool. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're getting paid more. As it doesn't necessarily mean you're bringing in more approvals. What oftentimes happens is when you just bring in a cheap lead, cheap cost per lead, Facebook optimizes for just that. It's going to get you a whole bunch of people that are just what we call planners. Planners that want freebies, that want answers to their questions, and aren't actively in pain to be able to get funded. We don't want planners. We don't want people wasting your sales guys' time on these closing calls with just a bunch of questions and asking for free shit. We want to optimize for what's actually going to get qualified on the call and then bring you an approval so you get more money in your pocket. So what that means is that I pay around $140 to $150 per qualified call. And I'm very happy to do so because the people that hop on my calls have seen a bunch of my content, so they trust me. They are actively in pain, as in they can't go to the next level of the business because they need to know how to run profitable funding ads. And those calls are oftentimes what I call a layup because they see me so much, they trust me so much, and because they're actually being held back because they're in pain because they can't make their ads more profitable. Guys, I want to pay more than $150 because those calls are what I call layups. Our retargeting ads, all the ads that we use on here, everything ultimately builds out an ecosystem where we ensure as much of a layup as possible on these sales calls so it's easier to close. And that's what you need to do with your funding ads. You need to make sure that you're optimizing not to be able to get a cheap cost or lead, but optimizing for actual approvals. Optimizing for as much of a layup on these sales calls as possible, lead quality score. You want to make sure you're optimizing for CAC, cost to acquire a client. That's ultimately the most important metric that you really need to understand. How much is the cost to acquire another approval? That is what you want to scale up rather than just getting cheap leads. Oftentimes, cheap leads, again, are just planners. If you need help making your ads more profitable or implement some sort of tracking system like we're talking about over here, you already know how to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help scale up your business because the more money I make you, the more I end up getting paid. God bless, guys. You know how to reach out to me. Peace.